Hey everyone! All right, today we are going to be making black bean brownies, and this was a recipe that I was a little bit hesitant about because I was like, black beans and brownies, come on, but they're super delicious. You'll never know that there's black beans in them. You can feed them to your family and they won't know that there's black beans in them. A lot healthier than a regular brownie and just as delicious and gooey. So black beans are one of those things that I feel like eating a plant-based diet or being vegan that you're gonna have on hand. And whenever I kind of have a sweet tooth, I'll throw these together real quick. So we are going to start with our blender, and if you have like a NutriBullet, food processor, it'll all work too. The key is just to make a creamy batter. So we're going to start with 1 can of black beans, rinsed and drained, okay? So we're gonna dump those in first. Then we are going to do a ½ cup of oats. These are gluten-free oats, so these are also going to be gluten-free, egg-free, dairy-free brownies. All right, so we're just gonna dump that in, and then we are gonna move on to a ½ cup of brown sugar, and we are going to just kind of pack that on the side. One thing with brown sugar, you can do brown sugar. I've also done agave, and I've also done maple syrup. So you can choose. I just happen to have brown sugar on hand today, so that is what we are going to use. Okay, next we are gonna do 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. So I'm just using our little mini measuring cup here. And we've got 2 tablespoons, so we're gonna dump that in. That's gonna give us that chocolatey flavor. We're gonna do 1/4 cup of coconut oil. And did you know that 4 tablespoons equals 1/4 cup? It was actually this measuring cup that taught me that. Didn't know it prior to. Okay. All right, so the only thing that you're gonna leave out of your black bean brownies on the recipe that I'll share below is you're gonna leave out the chocolate chips, which we'll stir in so they stay in full pieces. We are going to add, let's see, cocoa powder. We need some vanilla, some baking powder, and some salt, and then we're ready to blend. Okay, and I always do my dry before my wet so then it doesn't stick in my measuring spoon. Okay, and these are adjustable measuring spoons. Let's see, we've got a ½ teaspoon of baking powder, and make sure you read that right. Powder, not soda. I've made that mistake before. Okay, my baking powder, I like this brand because it has the little scraping off people there. So you can use that to level it. So we've got a teaspoon of baking powder. That went in. And then we need 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and I am using the Pampered Chef double, let's see, let me read it for you. Double strength Madagascar bourbon pure vanilla. It's ridiculously delicious. I think my original recipe I did 1, and then the second time I did 2, and I was like, it's just better with 2. All right, okay. So we've got the vanilla in. I think the last thing we need is our salt. And then we are going to blend this all together. Let me grab my salt grinder here. And I know that 10 turns on my salt and pepper grinder is a ½ teaspoon of salt. I got tired of measuring it. Also makes me feel slightly fancy. So here we go. Okay. All right, if you want to measure it out and then check it, you can totally do that as well. All right, so we've got our black beans, our oats, our sweetener. We've got our cocoa powder, salt. We got our coconut oil, our vanilla, baking powder. We're ready to blend. So with the Pampered Chef Deluxe Cooking Blender, you've got to have your lid on in order to do anything. Okay, and so then we are just going to do a custom blend for 1 minute and 20 seconds. And so we are going to just do I'm gonna do a 5. It'll be a little loud. We'll go 1 minute and 20 seconds, okay? Looks real good. I feel good about it. Okay, we are going to add the Pampered Chef pea protein, because why not add protein to our brownies? Like a packet or serving is 5 of these little scoops. So we're gonna add that in, and then we're gonna blend for just a few seconds more, okay? You could also put this in at the beginning. This is something I wanted to try today because I felt like it was a good idea. So, just to show you, you can put your pea protein and bump up the protein in just about anything. Pea protein is nice because it doesn't have any flavor to it. So it's not gonna like change the flavor of our brownies. Let's push that all in there. We're ready to go. Let's give it a few more. Ready to stir in our chocolate chips, and I'm also going to add some pecans. You can do no nuts, you can do with nuts. I just like brownies that have pecans in them, so we're going to do that. So let's grab our bowl, scrape everything out, and then we will be in business for our black bean brownies. They will bake at 350 degrees, and they are going to bake for 20 minutes at 350 degrees. And then when you remove them from the oven, you want to let them sit for about 10 minutes, just so they can set up a little bit before you serve them. So let's get these mixed in. Okay. We've transferred our batter from our blender into just a mixing bowl. This is the classic batter bowl. And now we're gonna add some chocolate chips. We're gonna prepare our baking vessel and add a few pecans. Let's see. So these are my favorite. I know there's quite a few different brands. These Simply Delicious by Nestle. They are fantastic. They're plant-based, vegan. They also are made with like, I think it's like 3 ingredients or something like that. Let me tell you, it's, yeah, 3 ingredients. So they meet a lot of needs for like dairy-free, gluten-free, different restrictions like that. So we're gonna add a 1/2 cup of chocolate chips, and you can do more or less to your liking. And then we are also going to add, I think I'm gonna do like maybe a 1/2 cup of pecans. I don't know. New experiment today. Yeah, maybe. Again, your discrimination. Not discrimination, that's not the right word. What's the word I'm looking for? Wish you guys could tell me. Discretion. It's up to your discretion. That was the word I was looking for. Okay, so just mix your chocolate chips and pecans into your batter and kind of incorporate everything together. And then I am just going to use the small rectangular baker from Pampered Chef. Our coconut oil. What I do is I take the lid off my coconut oil and just pop it in the microwave for like 30 seconds and make it liquidy. So I'm just gonna take and dip my silicone basting brush in there and just smear that around on the inside so they don't stick, with a little bit of coconut oil. And then we will get these bad boys in the oven at 350 degrees. Okay, so you could use like a smaller vessel, you know, something like this size, or if you have like a smaller, like kind of 8x8, I think that would work too. The key is you have to smooth the batter out because there's not a bunch of different ingredients in there. It will kind of stay exactly the way you leave it. My hands are extra clean, I promise. And it's kind of a little bit of a thicker batter, if you would say. And that's, again, we just don't have a lot of like liquid or butter or things in there. Like our main liquid is the 1/4 of a cup of coconut oil. Okay, so we're just gonna press that down into the pan so you can see why this is like a favorite little treat of mine. Just makes a little bit of brownies here. Okay, so there is your preparation for your black bean brownies. They are going to go into the oven at 350 degrees. I hope you guys enjoy your black bean brownies.